Dear all, good morning and good afternoon. I am Sandra Perletti, Global Head of Food and Beverage for Electrification Business in ABB. Welcome to ABB webinar series, Safe, Smart and Sustainable Food and Beverage. Thank you for joining. Meet your sustainability goals by optimizing efficiencies of electrical assets and minimizing impact of unforeseen events webinar with Lee Todd, Global Product Manager, Service Solution Electrification Business in ABB. The presentation will take 45 minutes, followed by 15 minutes of Q&A session. For your convenience and to avoid disturbing noises during the presentation, your lines will be muted. We would love to hear from you during the presentation, so if you have questions, please feel free to send them through the chat function or Q&A section of the WebEx application window. Your questions will be answered at the end of the session. If there will be some not answered questions due to time limitation, we will follow up with you and make sure your answers are delivered. The session will be recorded and shared together with the presentation material on our website so that you can share it with colleagues who are not able to attend. With that, I would like to hand over to Lee.
Thanks for that, Sandra. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, guys. I'd like to start by introducing myself. As Sandra said, my name is Lee Todd. I'm the Global Product Manager for Service Solutions within ABB's electrification business. Over the next 45 minutes or so, I would like to take you on a journey to rethink your service strategy. As we go through, I would like to teach you how we can reduce your costs, increase the efficiency of your plant. We're going to cover safety, how to comply with updated legal regulations, and improve safety for operational personnel with arc protection covering both passive and active. I want to tell you how we, ABB, can help you reduce costs with improved energy efficiency and energy management by looking at power quality and protection, reduced energy consumption, power factor correction, and network protection and balancing. We'll then take a look at how new technologies are driving asset performance and optimization. We'll be looking at reliability and life cycle management of your assets, safeguarding and lifetime extension of your asset investment, upgrading of assets to current state of the art, and perhaps more importantly, improving the overall efficiency of your maintenance. So with that said, let's get started and firstly look at safety, both from a consultative approach and the protection of people and equipment. The first step to improving operational safety is to understand the site condition. We can help you with this by performing detailed plant assessments to understand the condition and relative risk of failure to prevent damage to your plant, injury to your people, and help prevent production stops. We can also perform detailed network analysis, looking at, but not limited to, short circuit calculations and arc energy studies. We can advise on how your network is performing and how to drive optimization strategies. We can offer training for your teams, both operationally on your sites and remotely. We can help you develop procedures to ensure safe working practices in your maintaining and operating and optimizing of your plant, as well as looking at minimum downtime installation and commissioning of retrofit solutions to low and medium voltage assets to provide life cycle extensions, as well as improving operational efficiency and safety. Let's take a closer look at what site condition site assessment is and why the service is important for you and your teams. So, what is site condition? Site condition supports you in finding the most appropriate business decisions related to your allocation of operational budget. This is made possible by helping you to strategically direct and allocate budgets on an asset risk condition basis. This is the first step to enabling you to move from time-based towards advanced maintenance methodologies and move to predictive. Through my site condition, we will provide you with an assessment of strategic importance of your site's equipment, looking for areas of weakness, the actual condition of the assets you have on your site and your network, not limited to just your switchboards, but taking a holistic view from the transformer coming into your site with your utility supply, looking at generators that are attached to your site, and any other equipment that is connected and influencing the network. Critical points of failure will also be studied on your network and mitigation strategies offered. We will assess any available historical data that you have, either operationally, from maintenance that's been performed in the past, from failures on the system, or from any upgrades that you've done over the time of the site. We will provide an analysis of operation and asset safety so that you understand exactly where the risks are. And last but not least, an analysis of product lifecycle status. Is the product you've got currently available? Can you still get spare parts for that product? Or do you need to be looking at retrofitting to a more modern solution? Your key benefits from this My Site Conditional Analysis will be to understand the conditional status with an objective, up-to-date overview of each single component's condition, to reduce risk by receiving detailed analysis on risk reduction opportunities, as well as recommended mitigation actions, and condition-based budget allocation recommendations to use where asset reliability or safety might be endangered in the future. Outcomes of the assessment are in detailed reports and illustrations. These can be seen in the center of the page where you can see the My Site Condition analysis. These explain and visualize the actual status of the overall plant condition and each asset. It will also show how performance and safety can be improved, availability of your site increased, and your service needs prioritized. In many cases, minor preventative maintenance actions can be performed to improve the condition of the equipment while the assessment is being performed and data is being collected on your site. Condition and predictive based are by far the most effective maintenance strategies you can have. Studies have shown that a substantial proportion of operational budget can be used far more effectively by performing assessments in order to prioritize and focus your maintenance teams. This next page shows you an example where My Site Condition has been applied at a water desalination plant in Iraq. The customer raised a few questions to us. They wanted to have detailed analysis and assessment of their electrical system, covering from the main incoming medium voltage supply from the utility and including the diesel generators. They wanted to look at safety procedures and the tools that they have available. The local ABB service team in the region provided the on-site assessment, My Site Condition data collection and reports. The customer's feedback, as you can see, was very positive. And it was that the assessment was very effective and the report highlighted clearly the criticalities and allowed them to budget and plan essential mitigation actions. We'll be more than happy to discuss with you My Site Condition on an individual basis, how this can be applied to your sites, and the tailored benefits you could expect to receive by taking advantage of the ABB My Site Condition survey. Additionally, at the moment, the software for this process is being issued on a free license. So anybody who would be interested in taking up more information about this, please contact either myself, Sandra, or any of your food and beverage ABB team. One specific area of safety I now want to focus on is guarding against arc flash and arc blast. An arc flash, as you all know, is the light and heat produced from an arc fault that is supplied with sufficient electrical energy to cause substantial damage, harm, fire, or injury. A phenomenon of electrical arcs is that the arc experiences negative resistance, which in turn causes the electrical resistance to decrease as the arc temperature increases. More than 2,000 workers in the US were treated last year for specialized burns related to arc flash injuries. This led to over 300 deaths. Around 80% of electrically related accidents and fatalities involve qualified workers and are caused by arc flash or arc blast. This evidence proves that even trained people can get hurt. The potential costs can easily be between $1 to $15 million, with the cost of equipment, so replacing equipment that's been damaged, downtime of production, lost revenue, and insurance and compensation costs. This slide highlights for different industries the type of cost you're looking at per day. You know, if you look at oil and gas, 4.4 million. If you look at steel, 100,000. If you look at downtimes for data centers, $750,000, and the automotive industry, 1.2 million. And this is not counting just lost revenue. This is just purely downtime. So how can we protect people and equipment? Well, we can help in two ways. The first is through passive protection in the form of switchgear that is designed and certified against internal arc faults. For example, our medium voltage switchgear IEC solution Unigear with an internal arc withstand current of 50 kA, providing full protection AFLR to the operators. So that is all around front, lateral and rear. That gives safety to the operator when they're stored around the switchgear. Next, we have active solutions that can be built in the factory, or they can be retrofitted to existing equipment in your plants. Examples of this type of solution are ABB's ultra-fast acting earth switch, or the Relion series of relays, which are integrated with arc fault protection. We also have the TVOC arc guard system and a full lineup of low and medium voltage circuit breaker retrofit solutions with intelligence built in. So, why should you do this now? The answer is simple. Arc faults are the most serious fault within your power system. The cost, both to life and equipment and outages, are real. Our solutions can extinguish an arc fault in less than 4 milliseconds in the application of the ultra-fast acting earth switch, and between 60 to 80 milliseconds using arc protection Relion relays, including the switching time of the breaker. You can see in the graph that is shown in front of you the energy and the point at which cables, copper, and steel will melt. Time is of the essence with arc detection. I'd like to show you now a couple of examples where arc mitigation strategies have been applied by our customers. The first is in a soybean plant located in Brazil. The customer wanted to improve the operational safety of their existing switchgear, but made the specific request that they must minimize the downtime for the plant during any upgrades and meet future insurance and risk certification company requirements. You might think that sounds like a bit of an ask, For ABB, this is normal. The ABB service team locally in Brazil met this challenge and upgraded the protection and control system to the ABB Relion REA Arc Protection Solution. This upgrade was completed in non-ABB low voltage equipment. The addition of our arc detection relays is not specific or unique to just ABB equipment. It can be applied to any third-party low or medium voltage switchgear in your plant. The REA solution provides protection, detection of an arc and sends a trip signal to the breaker within 2.5 milliseconds, reducing the risk of damage to the equipment and saving lives. This next example is from a steel plant with a combination of both ABB and non-ABB medium voltage switchgear. In this request, the customer had a service failure on site that caused a plant-wide shutdown for an extended period of time. The customer requested from ABB for the highest possible protection for his people and assets on his medium voltage network. Again, the local service team provided installed and commissioned ultra-fast earth switches to the medium voltage switchgear at 10 kV. After validation of the advantages of the ultra-fast earth switch, the plant manager rolled this initiative solution out across the non-ABB switchgear to provide complete internal arc protection across the entire site. This is the highest possible protection for operating personnel, both on non- and ABB equipment. We'll briefly next touch on power quality and power stability. Your plant efficiency and production continuity can be affected by three key factors: reliability, quality, and disturbances. First, reliability. ABB has an extensive range of UPSs that cover from single phase to three phase and for both low and medium voltage applications in your site. Our units provide you with power protection for your sensitive loads from a few kilowatts to applications of many megawatts. Secondly, we have power factor and harmonics. The power you buy comes in two distinct parts. Just think like a frothy coffee latte. You can think of the coffee body as active power, what you can use for your process, while the froth on top is what we call reactive power. Some reactive power is obviously useful, but too much reactive power is simply a waste. The same as the foam that you leave behind in your coffee glass. Your power factor is the relationship between the active and reactive parts of the power on your network. The good news for you is that ABB can help you get the balance just right between the two. A low power factor might only be one of the symptoms of a range of power quality problems that can reduce both the reliability and the efficiency of your electrical equipment on your network. A full ABB survey will detect any power quality issues such as harmonics, flicker, and unbalanced loads. We can then draw on our range of state-of-the-art equipment, including active filters, to provide you with the ideal cost-effective solution. And last but not least, we have power and voltage conditioners. Power supply disturbances can interrupt your operation, resulting in lost material, loss of production, and of course, clearing and cleaning equipment for a restart. Fortunately, ABB has the latest power technology to prevent these interruptions. We install between the incoming supply and the equipment loads. ABB's active conditioner senses power disturbances such as voltage sag from adverse weather, and acts extremely quickly to correct the event before it can have any effect on your operation. This next slide shows an example of where power quality was an issue. The customer, a water production and bottling company located in the United States, had an issue that where the power factor was in the low 80s. And of course, as you know, the optimum goal is to get one, which is unity. And that they were paying a penalty charge to the power supplier based on every percentage below unity. Their request was to ABB to find out, firstly, what the status of their network was, and to propose a solution to improve the power factor to greater than 92% to avoid excessive utility penalties and, more importantly, reduce their energy cost. The local service team from ABB in their state provided a detailed analysis of the issue, which resulted in the installation and commissioning of an ABB medium voltage capacitor bank. This analysis and installation saved the customer around $1,500 a month, and with a return on investment in less than 5 years. Analysis up front and doing the analysis correctly can lead not only to savings but greater efficiencies. Now comes the really clever part: asset performance and optimization. Asset performance management systems act to improve the reliability, to keep production up and running, and the availability of physical assets. Your installed equipment, while minimizing risk, that's risk of failure, and subsequent direct or indirect costs affecting your bottom line. For effective asset management, asset owners need to be aware of several factors: condition of the switchgear and breakers, risk of what happens if I lose a particular breaker feeder. Do I lose production or do I lose just the lights? Probability of failure in real time across all assets. What life cycle am I in with my switchgear? Are spares totally available? Is my equipment current or obsolete? And lastly but not least, when do I trigger service retrofits to extend the life of my switchgear and reduce impact to production? What are the maintenance strategies available to you, and what is the cost? You could run to failure and risk total production loss. Not a great strategy. You could move up the ladder and go to time-based, which does not take into account if a breaker has switched once or 300 times in the last year, whether it has been switched or whether it is tripped in anger. Next, you could look at usage-based maintenance. Do I know what my usage is? What the usage reflects? The best option to maximize production continuity and reduce service cost is condition-based, using analytical data that allows you to get up-to-the-date, holy grail predictive maintenance. So how does ABB Ability help you? Let's look at operational cost. A maintenance manual, let's say, might say every 3 years you need to do a breaker timing check. With condition monitoring, you can collect that every time you switch and centralize the data, therefore reducing cost per asset for maintenance. If you look at the effect in terms of direct optimizing of cost, it will give you a decrease of duration time for maintenance activities of around 30%. It can give you an OPEX reduction cost of around 40%, but more importantly, it can give you 100% unplanned labor cost reductions. Next, let's look at maximizing the uptime. With digitization-based maintenance, the system will inform you before an asset is about to fail, and it will allow you to plan when to change, upgrade, or modify the asset. Without this, let's consider you lose a charging motor on a medium voltage breaker. Let's say it happens on Christmas Eve. So the cost of the motor for, let's say, is $100, yet the cost of labor at Christmas might be $2,000. If you'd planned this and you knew about it from condition-based and predictive maintenance, that could have been handled the week before to prevent those costs from occurring at Christmas and prevent all the overtime and additional costs for getting equipment to site. Unexpected failure, like loose connections, climatic and atmospheric contamination, etc., these will never go away, but condition monitoring and analytics make it predictable. When we look at safety, moving to condition-based predictive maintenance keeps your personnel away from unnecessary proximity to switchgear. Remote HMIs allow for real-time data visibility. As we discussed earlier, ARC is the biggest risk to your electrical teams. Don't forget, over 300 deaths annually are recorded in the US alone related to arc or arc blast incidents. If I take a global view, 80% of all electrical accidents are caused by arc flash or arc blast. And then let's not forget the last but most important number to you. Between 1 to 15 million is your potential cost. So, how can we sum up the benefits of condition-based predictive maintenance? Well, you can sum it up really in 3 words. First, availability. Availability of your asset and reduced downtime, giving you increased production time. Secondly, reliability. Reliability of the system architecture through optimized maintenance, and predictability. Knowing when to replace, modify, or upgrade an asset before it fails, and allowing you to do it on your timescale. All this results in operational savings. When we look at digitization, we obviously listen to customers, and a couple of statements are on screen now that will tell you what we've heard from 2 particular customers. And I'll just pick up on a couple of key points. One customer told me we need to track the health condition of our assets to predict potential failure. Again, that's about keeping costs down. It's about keeping production up. Budget planning, very important. If you know what the failure points are and you understand the asset base, then instead of performing time-based maintenance and spending money where it's not needed, you can then improve the efficiency of your budgeting. And by doing that, the estimation of the remaining useful life is known to you. Also, other customers have asked us for highest visibility and predictability. On new switchgear tenders, they will contain diagnostics. We're seeing now that many customers are asking for switchgear that provides analytics so that they can start to understand the predictability of failure. To make all of this possible, ABB has created a new digital world that pulls together my site condition, a comprehensive site assessment without sensors, as we've discussed, condition monitoring with sensors, combining MySiteCare and SWECOM relays, and Industry 4.0 cloud solutions. All of this is in one place to create a predictive maintenance system using an algorithm layer that is based not only on the history of your own equipment, but on the many years of production that ABB has. So, How do we collect all the data to get to one holistic view? The answer is SWECOM. It's one device mounted to your switchgear, exactly as a relay, that all your relays and sensors connect to. SWECOM will collect data from not only ABB assets, but also from non-ABB assets. SWECOM can be considered to be applied in layers. It can take data from your relays, for example, open and close times, number of operations, number of short circuit actions, etc. You might ask, why use SWECOM for this if my relay has the data? Simple answer to that one is relays are mission critical to every organization, and they're also then therefore protected. No one wants to inadvertently alter a setting on a relay that can affect adversely the operation of the plant. Additionally, SWECOM can be read remotely via an Android or Apple device, or local or remote HMI, and again, keeping personnel at a distance from the switchgear and keeping them out of harm. SWECOM's advanced analytics are not solely reliant on relay data or sensor data, but take into account many years of data ABB has collected on our assets in the field. The overview image that you see on the right side of the page shows SWECOM connected to the relays on an IEC 61850 backbone. SWECOM connects both temperature and partial discharge sensors. SWECOM is then connected to the site SCADA, electrical control system, or digital control system, and or Ability Cloud via a dedicated gateway. On-site solutions via HMI and handheld devices are available. The handheld device connects via the SWECOM QR code and will automatically disconnect after a period of 1 minute of inactivity. So once connected, it does not always stay connected. You leave the switch room and you lose the connection. SWECOM sensors come in two basic flavors. First, let's look at temperature sensors. These are wireless sensors that are fitted inside your switchgear and again can be applied to any switchgear, either at the factory or in the field at your site, including third-party switchgear. The sensors form a closed-loop system via the sensor, its antenna, and the SWECOM unit. Secondly, we have partial discharge sensors that can be applied either by capacitive coupling technology, which is ideal for IEC equipment, as capacitive voltage dividing sensing is a standard feature on IEC equipment. For ANSI or NEMA equipment, we have temperature and ultra-high frequency detection that is used, again, to find the partial discharge sensor. What we're looking for in terms of sensing is anything greater than 100 PD. The holistic predictive maintenance architecture looks like the slide in front of you. My Remote Care Industry 4.0 takes all that collected data we've just discussed from the relays, from SWECOM, and uploads it to the Azure platform on ABB system to enable 24-hour, 365-day monitoring, either at home or in the office or in the factory. This is all done via a monodirectional link, one way. This link eliminates the possibility to control the equipment remotely. Asset health is continuously monitored like a digital fingerprint, analyzing probability and risk based on all data points. This next example is where low voltage and motor control condition-based monitoring has been applied to a motor and drive intensive production facility in Turkey. Batisok Cemento, one of Turkey's largest cement manufacturers, wanted to optimize their manufacturing operations and safeguard process uptime with a modular and scalable solution which was flexible to extend and configurable to their site. ABB service team in Turkey applied low voltage CMES to the motor control centers to provide a digital fingerprint. The customer, as you can see, told us that ABB Ability CMES gave them seamless integration with all their local systems and helped the operation and manufacturing teams to reduce maintenance OPEX by up to 30%. This is a massive saving by understanding your network and taking analytics to move to condition and predictive based. Lastly, I want to tell you where we are, ABB, where we're located for digitization, and where your local service teams are. We have digital solution centers with engineering teams that are available to consult, design, and implement tailored solutions for energy and power management, electrification of digitization of asset management. We also have more than 40 plus service centers located globally, one near you, supporting our customers in adaptive predictive maintenance, offering power care services, power care agreements, and remote support and extended warranties. We also do retrofits and upgrades to your existing equipment to minimize downtime and maintain continuity. Lastly, I just want to summarize how digital services have transformed. ABB Ability gives you safety. We're committed to world-class products, systems, services, and health and safety is our priority. Efficiency and production continuity. Enable energy efficiency and energy flow control, pluggable power management solutions, and maximizing your production continuity. Asset performance and optimization to monitor the reliability and the efficiency of your assets, to optimize your operation and your maintenance process. And lastly but not least, flexibility and sustainability. Enjoy flexible, scalable, modular digital solutions which allow for an efficient integration of future renewable and e-mobility technology. I'd like to say thank you all for listening. I hope that there is some of this presentation that applies to you, and I would expect to have some phone calls either to myself, to Sandra, or the food and beverage team wanting more information. Sandra, any questions?
Thanks, Neil. Yes, we do have a question that is more related to the assessment. So how it functions, the process, and how we can benefit of this process for an existing plant.
Okay, so first of all, if anybody is interested in the site assessment, if you can reach out to your local ABB sales engineer or food and beverage representative or Sandra or myself, what we will then organize is giving you an overview as to the capability of the site assessment, looking at everything from, to start off with, from your single line diagrams, and then coming to site to understand the actual condition of your assets, the age of your assets, and any data that you have on historical operation or maintenance of that asset. All that then goes into my remote care, and the analytics that come out of that will allow you to then see a very detailed overview of your site, understanding where the areas of weakness in your site are, and also understanding and being able to predict points of failure. The result in this analysis and site visit will give you predictability that helps you reduce your maintenance costs, and more importantly, gives you increased uptime.
There is another question saying, how can we and who we can contact in the country to explore options and benefit from our current free of charge offering in terms of digital subscription services?
Great question, Sandra. So in terms of our digital services that we have, the software that I've gone through in this presentation is available at the moment as a free subscription. And that is on the back of any of the surveys that we do to give you those detailed levels of analytics and understanding of your current site status. If you reach out to your local food and beverage sales engineer, or you can reach out directly to Sandra and myself, and we would love the opportunity to discuss that further with you.
Is it applicable as well for third-party equipment or just for ABB equipment?
Great question again, Sandra. It's available for any equipment. When we look at Swecom or rely on relays, they can be adapted and modified into any switchgear, irrelevant of whether that is ABB switchgear or third-party switchgear.
Great. So I think that we do not have any other questions. So I would like to thank you, all the participants, to this webinar, and we hope to talk soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, guys, for listening.